Welcome, friends. My name is Whiskey Papa, and I am here to show you the storage system that I kind of posted on Facebook a couple of days ago. Here, give you a quick tour of it and kind of a idea of how it builds. I haven't even played around with Update 5 quite yet, which is why you just saw my trains collide there. This server has been on Update 5 for all of about 25 seconds now, but that's neither here nor there. We're going to talk about some storage today, and then we'll talk about how to build it here in the sandbox mode. So what you're seeing right now is 30 boxes, 15 on each side, stacked on top of each other, a single then a double box, full of all my favorite stuff. So as they progress further and deeper into the storage area, we have more and more difficult components to make, all of which being constantly filled from various places on the map via my bus. So you'll see a single box down below and a double box up above. At the back here, you can see the update has kind of messed with my angled ramping. Pull that out of here just because I can. At the very back, I have the MAM, another craft bench, the awesome shop, and then some of the guts we'll talk about here in just a second. If you look real close, right behind, I've got the awesome sink. So let's go back to the front here and let's talk about how I operate with this thing. So down below right here, this is my drop area. It's a storage container where I drop whatever I need to, and it's going to sort that all out into the machine. Try to figure out why that's counting up. That's interesting. Have to take a look at that in a minute. Anyway, in theory, this might be broken now that the update has done its job, because I don't see anything being lifted. Oh, I do see things being lifted. That's interesting. Either way, I shouldn't see this counting up, but we're gonna go with it. There it goes. It's counting down now. I wonder what that was about. Anyway, there's our storage container where it's going to drop all of our stuff and it's going to sort it for us. As we move through the machine, I'm going to go to the back here to show you the guts, but it's going to either determine whether it's overflow or if it's something that needs to be stored, and throw it in the correct bins. So looking at the guts over here, it looks complicated. Don't be afraid to try and give this a shot. It is just piecemeal together one slice at a time, so every storage bin width is one unit, and then each of these are just built in series to each other, so that's not too terrible. So the storage box down there that I dump my inventory in, it will automatically sort. Gets lifted into the main bus here, and then along this line right here is a series of smart splitters all the way down, for which I have selected on this one, for example, to be iron rods. They go out the left output, center is now any undefined, and then the right is overflow. When I select the right, which is the one coming towards us right here, it gets lifted into this merger right here, and this merger line gets sent down, stacked right on top of the smart splitters. If it is something that I want to sort, it's placed out the left output. That's right here. It goes up and over the top of the box and is fed in through the front on the top side. And then on the other side of this, we have our main input from the factory down here. Just the easiest way to run everything below the floor, and if it looks really ugly, it goes below the floor. It gets lifted this way across the top into another lift over there, and it's very, very top of the whole entire setup. Those come down right here. So this is the main bus feeding the main supply of iron rods, and then this one inputting to the top spot is the sorting machine. If it detects any overflow, it gets sent to the end to the awesome sink, which is super nice. I'll explain how I got this clip to look like it does right now. You can also check out the YouTuber ImKibitz, one of my favorite guys to watch because he's got lots of energy and he's frankly a genius builder. This design is largely his. I take no credit for the basic design. Just a couple of the tweaks that I did, as for example the input from the main bus. He won't feature on his build. I thought I needed that kind of input just so I didn't clog up the whole system, so it's running all at Mark 5 speeds and it never gets clogged up, no matter how much you stick in the sorter down there, and no matter how much you have inputting from the factories out here. You never have any clogging up, which is probably the best part. Um, in the sandbox mode, I'll explain more on how to set this up in terms of footprint and the specifics here, but that's just kind of the general overview of what's going on. I'll show you some of the guts behind the scenes over here as well. So it initially starts down below on that side, it gets fed through this side, finishes up over here, goes underneath us, back over there, mirrored on this side, and ends back over here. So here is our final output for any undefined. So anything that wasn't sorted in this box set gets stuck in this box. You can see, like, for example, I don't have automated wiring or Summers loops sorted out, so they all ended up right here. And then our overflow for this side is getting routed out that way, which I'll walk back there right now. And you can see the overflow from this side is getting stuck into this merger right here to the sink, and the overflow from this side is very simply stuck into this merger to the sink. And then this is our trash can that I have set up. This is the only shortfall of this whole mechanism, one of the places it can get bogged down. So I can walk over here and I can toss anything that can be synced into this storage container and it'll get synced. The downside here is if you were to stick anything in this box that isn't syncable, you're going to clog the overflow system. So beware of that, and just know don't put anything that can't be synced in there, otherwise you'll clog it up. So that's it. That's all I've got for you. I've got all the center here built with glass just so I can see up, and then some lighting up there, which was super nice. You can see that the shadows don't make it super easy to see everything that's in here, but it's a start. It's a work in progress every day. And then just for fun, I have some glass foundations right here to see all the craziness of all the inputs going this direction. You can see on both sides what's going on, what's coming in here, coming out of my fuel generator and plastics and stuff. For example, all kinds of fuel and frames and stuff like that. So I hope you enjoyed this section. We'll move on now to the sandbox section to see how to piece this together. Thanks. Okay, and welcome back. Here we are in a sandbox world. It took me a second to set this all up, but if you were to take apart what I just showed you, this is essentially what you're looking at for each machine. So let's go through the parts of it just one more time, and maybe it'll make some more sense out of it. So coming out of here, here's your initial storage area right here, or your initial drop box rather. You can drop everything you have in here to be sorted and put into your line. Over here, this would be the input right here from your bus to feed the main supply of this box. Up above, come to the other side to make it look a little bit clearer. So your bus input would be right here, going up this line, following across the top, and then dropping into the bottom input section of the double box on top. The feed from the sorting mechanism down below comes up this lift into this smart splitter, which right now I have it set to leaves, and feeds into the lower belt on the top portion into the upper input of the double box on top. The double box on top is then fed into the lower box on the bottom, and then I have the belt run through and clipped just like ImKibitz has in the video. If you're looking for the initial setup of this footprint and the sizes and everything you need, look up a storage video by ImKibitz. I'll link it in the description for you. It's one of the two YouTubers that I use to make this design. As you can see, it is one tile wide. Go ahead and ignore these two belts here just for the sake of demonstration, but it's just one tile wide, which means we can infinitely add these across. Now if you want to get started, I have this section 8 foundations wide. The middle has set up with a foundation just 2 meters below the floor that I'm working on, just to facilitate the clipping for the visual part of the storage system. And as you can see, I can come down here, I'll drop in my leaves and some cable, let's say, and immediately you see the cable gets spit out over here because it is any undefined item, so it's fed straight ahead. I grab those off the cable there, and then you can see the leaves being lifted into the storage system via the lower belt on the top, through the center, and down into the lower box there, visually displaying the leaves. To get the leaves to display nicely, you'll have to also stick on the belt a couple of plates. I use in this instance iron plates. Put 2 of those on the belt before, or just regular iron plates. Put 2 of those on the belt before, and then go ahead and start feeding your items in so they kind of match up nicely with the floor here. Kibitz will explain that too in his video. And then I don't have enough stuff right now just to get an overflow, but just to show you that any of the overflow that would have come through the items, if we had too many leaves from the boxes to fill 3 stacks of boxes, it would have been lifted into this merger right here, and then it would have displayed down this conveyor belt. So I'm going to go ahead and delete these 2 conveyor belts and their associated stanchions, and go ahead and build another one of these right next to it just to show you how it's all done. First thing I'm going to place is the storage container. I'm going to need this to be nice and butt up to the next one with the output facing the middle of your storage area, just like that. And then I'm going to go ahead and steal the double box from the other side with the middle click and have it facing input from the center, just like so. Alright, first thing I want to do to get the spacing correct is I'm going to go ahead and input from the box right there. And these are kind of placeholders, and I'll show you why in just a second. I'm going to go ahead and place a lift as tight as I can up against this one and lift it to just as high as the top of this box without clipping anywhere, making it look real nice. So let me turn it. There we go. Make that nice and even with the ones in front of it. Now with the reverse feature on update 5, it's really nice to build with that as opposed to having to do a little bit of shenanigans with the belts before. For this belt input, simply just a single high belt that way, or belt lift that way, and then you can connect these 2 with a belt. And that is your first set of instructions to build this. Now this next one, this one's a little tricky. To get directionality correct, we're going to go ahead and grab a conveyor pole, and we're going to come out here, let's see, 1, 2, maybe 3 steps just before the diamond, and raise it to 2 high. We're going to attach to that a lift and set that guy up going over the top like this. This won't be the final iteration of that lift, it just needs to be there so we can set up a belt on top of it. So we're going to climb to the top here, grab a belt, stick it down. Oh, thank you, Mark 5 belts. I am by no means a professional, ladies and gentlemen. I'm going to go up here to kind of get, oh that's wonderful, get myself an angle to do this. We're going to kind of stack this conveyor belt up on top of the lift right here, kind of making a little bit of an overlap here. If I can get on the edge and walk, that'd be superb. There we go. So what we're going to do is we're going to get right in the middle of this belt and kind of stick it just like so. Awesome. Alright. We'll use that more later. For now, we're going to go ahead and steal this smart splitter. We're going to line it up along the bus here. Go ahead and connect it with a belt. Go ahead and connect this with a belt. And let's make this, how about cable? So we're going to go right, cable, center, any undefined, left, overflow. Alright. Let's go ahead and stick a merger on the top here. So what we're going to do is we're going to stick a merger on top like this, and then we're going to set another merger on top of it to get the spacing correct. And notice that I have the merger outputting down the line to the left. We can go ahead and get rid of this middle merger like this. Connect your line of mergers. Oh joy. This is the part of having no hover pack in Sandbox that drives me crazy. Let's go ahead and clamber our way back up here. We'll go ahead and steal a lift, stick it to the merger, and then now this merger is ready to output down the line. If you'll notice, I have that belt sitting way up there, ready to go to stick across the merger like this, and then finally give myself some space to work here. And then finally we have this input line, which will butt up against the previous, just over the top like this, and then connect the two with the belt. And notice my directionality is incorrect, so I'm going to fix this real quick. Directionality on this needs to be such that we're going to see, I built this one incorrectly as well. So this belt is going the wrong way, which is unfortunate, so we're going to go ahead and undo this. This is kind of the tricky part of doing the belts this way. So we're going to make sure that the building mode for this one is now reversed. So I'm going to do it this way. And now notice that the input is at the top of the belt there. Run a belt this way, grab a lift, and now you see the directionality is correct. They'll connect, and bang-rang. Looks like we got things. So there's your input line heading up and over to fill your inner box. Now at this part, what we're going to do is we're actually going to erase these two things. And this is just in an effort to make it nice and compact, so kind of looking like this over there. We're going to go ahead and climb this up here. And just like before, we're going to have to kind of do a little bit of a creative belting here to get the... Love it. I'm used to having a jetpack. A little bit of creative belting here to get the directionality looking correct. And making everything nice and tight. So we're going to go ahead and bring the belt to about right there. I'm not holding control or anything of the sort. That's just giving it enough room to kind of snap around it. Steal a lift, and now you'll notice it's nice and tight, and then you'll get it. So there's even. I want to go one above even, and then run the belt in. And you can see just by the sheer misplacement of this that I maybe ran the belt a little bit too far. So to fix that, really simply remove my 3 belts here, and let's quickly run and reset that belt. So we're going to get rid of this pole. If we could place poles on top of the lifts, that would be much easier for us, but unfortunately we can't. So I might have set it a little bit too far here, so maybe let's back it up a little bit and maybe go right there. Now it's a little bit tighter in. It looks like it's a little bit closer to the one next to it. And still not quite perfect, but you get the idea. Go ahead and mess with that to get the alignment just right. Find a metric by which you can measure the conveyor belts across the tops to make all the inputs symmetric. As for this guy, all you gotta do is have the floor set down first. Remove a section of the floor that's a little bit further back. So let's say these two, just so we can see. And we can run a belt down like this. It'll be clipping. You don't care. You want it to. And then put that back down. For this, we're going to go ahead and put our 2 plates in it. They'll run down, so now they're sitting down there, and now when our cable runs into the system, they'll stop right here and look pretty. And that is everything in a nutshell. I apologize for the very terrible video creation, but I am by no means an expert. I'm just an amateur player here, trying to share a little bit of knowledge. So with any further yammering on, I'll complete my tutorial there. In an effort to save you some time and frustration, Basically, all you gotta do is run this all the way to the end. This line right here will eventually have to cross over to the other side. So I just did that up underneath. So give yourself plenty of room down below, maybe down below for even like a train station or 2 or 3. But this line will eventually have to cross over to the other side and go all the way back to the front to mirror this again so that your final outputs end up back here. And then you can just go ahead and build yourself an awesome sink right behind the wall, just like ImKibitz shows you. And that will be your overflow protection. It's just one overflow line, so the overflow will flow all the way through the top mergers, across, all the way through the top mergers again, and then down to the awesome sink at the end. So I'll complete my tutorial there. If you have any questions, feel free to leave a comment. I'm not going to beg for you to like or subscribe because, frankly, I don't care. This is just for your guys' education. So I love you all. I'll answer questions happily. Hit me on the Facebook group or the comments down below, and I will get back to you guys as soon as I can. But for now, I will catch y'all later.